Hello, everyone. Welcome to another installment of Erin's Book Club. I have a book review to do today that's a little bit special. This one was recommended to me, believe it or not, by my boss. And when I first heard about it, I thought, I mean, it's different, but whatever, it's my boss. I learned something with this book. Don't judge a recommendation before you read it, and my boss has excellent taste in books. And what's even better, when I go to work now, I can talk about said book, and the book has so much to talk about. So the book that I read today was Flowers for Algernon. I think that's how you say it. And it's by Danielle Keyes, an author I don't know, a story I don't know, a story that's entirely outside of the genre that I usually would pick up to read for enjoyment. So this is not going to be spoiler free, so if you haven't read it, read it and come back. First and foremost, I still think this book should be read by all schools. I think this is a really good classic. It's actually going to go into my classic bookshelf, and it has so much to say, and it's so well written. It's about scientists who were experimenting with intelligence, and they were testing on animals first, and they were able to create a mouse that had far superior intelligence than anything else, and the intelligence had lasted for a long, long time. So they decided that it was time to try the experiment on a human. So they picked a human that had incredibly low IQ, and I think they also picked this gentleman because he had very little family left, because they did, in fact, do an effort to find the family to get permission, but they really didn't describe in his context what he was going to go through if he went through this experiment. And because this gentleman wanted nothing more than to be intelligent his whole life, he said, yeah, I'll go for this surgery, I'll have this intelligence done. And you follow with him. The entire book is written in journal entries, and you follow with him from when he is severely limited in how he can communicate and how his spelling goes and everything else, to being so much smarter than even the scientists that created him, to crashing on back down and being worse off than when he started, and then kind of shoved away and forgotten about. And throughout that journey, every single character that is in his life has depth, has feeling, has complexity. Whereas even the Alice character, who I thought at first was a good and noble character who was supportive of this fellow when he was not as smart, because she was one of his teachers trying to teach him to read when he was not as smart. And as he got smarter and smarter and smarter, the kindness that was shown to him was mistaken in the then in Charlie's mind as passion and love, and he fell in love with her, and she didn't reciprocate at first until he got to a certain intelligence level, and then she threw herself at him, and then when he got past her intelligence level, now she didn't want anything to do with him, and then when he came back down hard and heavy, she wanted to pay attention to him and be with him only until he dropped down to below what her intelligence level was. So even throughout the book, when you feel that, oh, she's a very good and noble and caring person, in reality, is she? Because she only really wants to spend time with him when he can offer her something, be it comfort, be it sex, be it whatever. She only wants to be with him when he can intellectually match her. And when he's above her, she's not interested. And when he's below her, she's not interested. And that's only one dynamic of friendships that you explore throughout all of this. And then the character brings in the author brings in a really good point. So you've taken this character who has had a really traumatic upbringing as a result of a mentally disturbed mother, and the fact that he was so mentally disturbed in the time and age when he was. So he's had a traumatic upbringing. He has all this trauma, but because he didn't have the mental capacity to even acknowledge that or understand that or even care about that, it didn't bother him. But then when he got intelligent, all of a sudden all this comes back, and now he not only does he have to learn how to cope with that, he has to learn how to interact with people normally, how to socially be acceptable with people normally, how to maybe not trust certain people and trust other people. And then on top of all of that, he learns that in his past, the people who have been interacting with him have actually been making fun of him, and they were not the friends he thought they were. And then he gets so much more intelligent than everybody. He gets cocky, and he gets resentful, and he gets angry. And he learns through all of that how he comes from being this excuse me excuse me this really slow but kind and caring person, to this incredibly intelligent, arrogant asshole, to this resentful, angry man who's losing the one little thing that he wanted in life, to a man who is just a shell of himself, who knows just enough to know that the interactions he had in his past are not good enough for him anymore, but he doesn't understand why. And now, because he can't socially be with anybody else, he locks himself away in an asylum. And the scientist thinks this is okay because they're paying for the asylum. So we've covered our rear ends, and we told him what the experiment might be and how it may not last forever. So we're clear and good. We don't have any guilt. It's a book that has stuck with me for days, and it is a book that I will need to reread because there's nuances here I didn't get. And it's a book I really enjoyed, and I honestly, it's my first 5-star book of the year, and I honestly think everybody should read it. So, Flowers for Algernon is a wonderful book with intricate, wholesome, and not so wholesome dynamics, along with scary influences. It's like a Stephen King book without the gore. And I feel as though I've been, forgive my French, mind fucked. It's a good book, guys. You gotta read it. And I'll let you know when I have another book read.